Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service, real-time updates only in iOS mobile apps. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
Welcome back. It's a brand new episode. This is Laugh With Me, a podcast with Jeremy Odem. I'm your host,
Yay.
J.O., and I am here with special guest. His name's Eric Larson. He's a giant in the transportation industry. He is a football expert. Here's the other thing that not a lot of you know about Mr. Larson. He's a world traveler. He just spent a few weeks in Europe, and he just spent opening day with me watching a game and a half. Eric, how you doing, buddy?
I could be better.
Yeah, you just ripped ass right before I recorded. I said I wished we would gotten that on the air. I'm like, how, dude?
You said it a lot more mad than that.
I was pissed. I'm like, how are we not getting this shit on content? Like,
I didn't know why you locked the door before the show started. Now I understand. Like, there was some intimidation play going on right there.
Yeah, I'm like, everything's content, right? In this world, 2025, that is something that is content. Like, people find that funny, myself included.
Hey, if I can recreate it, I will. I will.
You would, too. Dude, welcome to the show. It's season 3. You've been on a couple times.
Season 3?
Yeah, we're on season 3. I think you've been on a couple times this season already, if I'm...
No, this is my first time recording.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think that's true. This is your first time recording since, the article came out about Laugh With Me. We're getting some applause going. It's been a big deal, right? Laugh With Me, we're getting some recognition. I'm the underdog of the industry right now.
Yeah. Yes, you are. And I'm a creator, apparently.
You are a creator. Yeah, you got a credit there.
Maybe
I don't know who gave you that.
Master of transportation is what I prefer.
Master of transportation is generally what we call you. I don't know who called you a creator, but here you are. You are a creator. Take it, dude.
My favorite part of that article was just the fact that it called out your experiences, your life experiences as a pepper attack survivor.
Pepper spray attack survivor. That happened.
But it did not give any hint, clue, inkling as to what it means to survive a pepper spray attack.
Well, luckily...
it is very self-explanatory. Yeah. I can understand the confusion.
The beauty is there's an entire episode devoted to it.
Yeah.
But... if you're wondering, it fucking sucks. Like, have you ever been pepper sprayed?
I've been in the vicinity where somebody has sprayed pepper spray into the air.
Yeah.
And it clears the room.
It sucks.
It clears the room.
Yeah, it'll clear the room.
Yeah. And it wore off, though, very quickly because, once you got away from the area, It was fine. Like, it's not like it was, on me.
Yeah. The best is when, you've gone through the entire thing with the person spraying you, and then it's like, and then you've got the whole deal, and you deal with that, and then you call the police, whatever. And then the police come, and then you're dealing with them, and they're just like, hey, just side note. When you shower, because you're gonna need to get that all out of.
They took a look at you and they said, "This guy
showers." They looked at me. Yeah, they looked at me.
Showers?
And they're like, "Hey, you shower, obviously. When you shower,
you're literally sitting across from me. You're wearing a Padres shirt that has not been washed since you bought it. You still got the San Diego sweat somewhere ingrained in that fabric.
It's opening day, baby. So go Pods. We just won. Game one, we may not lose this year.
Yeah, Twins might not win.
Based on
I'm not
ready
going. To have this conversation. I want to meet in the middle. Let's both go 500.
Yeah, let's go 5. Let's make the playoffs. How about that? Let's.
Right. I can.
Can we go 700? Yeah,
I can drink to that.
So cheers. So I'm meeting with the police, and they're just like, "Hey, you're gonna shower, and just know it's going to reactivate when the water hits it. It's like, oh, thank you. That's the thing.
You had to give Ashley the warning.
Oh,
you had been like, hey, I'm going to be crying in the shower.
Yeah.
But it's not like last time. It's not like last time.
It's not like last time. It's like normal crying. This is because it's burning in my eyes. I'm so thankful for those officers telling me that. I would have never known that it would reactivate and be just as explosive in the shower as when it was first sprayed. Never would have known. So I'm actually appreciative to them for that. That was actually awesome.
You'd ever like consider putting something other than water, like rubbing some dirt on it, or
rubbing some dirt?
Like, is there a way that you could kind of like push it away?
I tried my best. I mean, honestly, who I work for? I work for Kroger back then. I know Kroger's going through some shit right now because, their big deal with Albertsons went down, and then they had to fire their CEO, and now they don't know really what way's up. But I worked for Kroger back then, and I'll tell you what, they wanted me to just keep going. They wanted me to keep working, and I'm like, I'm going to go home. I'm going to figure this out and get this shit out of my hair. So they did want me to rub some dirt on that, but
you know what would have helped, and what you did not know. Like,
I didn't know.
You're ignorant,
yeah,
up until now. But as we saw here in the last week, a banana peel exfoliation.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Dunk in your head and maybe a bottle of water and some ice.
That's the thing, is more that I've learned, especially this week. Like, to your point, routine is important, and exfoliating with banana peel, rubbing it on my face helps. Putting my face in ice cold water bucket helps. Specifically, not tap water. We're talking bottled water.
Yeah, that
helps. Have you ever done that? Not bottled water, but like, have you ever put your face just in a bucket of ice water? And if you haven't, we're gonna do it.
No, not intentionally.
All right.
You know what I would put my face into?
What's that? Some titties. Some titties.
Whoa! Hey! All right.
This show has taken a turn. If you've read the article about the show,
this is the most wholesome.
We're supposed to be a wholesome show in the comedy category. We have taken a turn.
I was gonna say, beer.
Okay, bottle of beer, which he's got. Yeah, not a pair of titties.
Honestly, all right. So you got me. I have been on the show before.
Yeah,
but you do have a routine. We normally have one, maybe two beverages before.
We do.
So you just need to stretch that out over an additional 5 hours.
Yep.
Get that 6 hour lead in.
Get that 6 hour. Yeah.
That's
Yep. Here we are.
That's podcast magic.
That's podcast magic. Well, I'm excited to have you. You just spent, 10 days in Europe?
Yep.
Buddy, you got to have some stories from Europe. I know going into Europe, you and I were talking. We're like, all right, hey, here's the deal. You're in Europe. I'm here in Nebraska. You're going to call me, and you're going to be in a pub or something, and we're going to get some things going. Obviously, that's not realistic. Did you ever find yourself in situations where you were in Europe and you're like, this would be good for the pod?
So more of the stories.
Okay.
So I put together some stories to share today. Not more. We might have to do a separate, or we might have to spread out some of those the life experiences on there. But I did have some stories that I thought that you and the listening audience might be entertained by.
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but we've just recently peaked as the 75th best podcast in the United States on iTunes. Not everybody does that. In fact, only 74 ahead of us have ever. But here we are. So you were just in Europe. Tell us like some of the stuff. I've never been. I've been in some states. I would name the states. Today's not that day. But there's going to be a day where we talk about the states I've been to. Tell us. Hey,
Minnesota.
You don't have to be a dick about it. I'm going to name some states. I'm just saying, you traveled to, and this is not the first time you've been to Europe, so it's not like, I went to Europe for you've been a few times, so like, tell us, dude. Tell us about the trip. It sounds like a good time.
Well, so I think that's the interesting part, is a lot of my trips previously, we went to Oktoberfest a couple times.
Yeah.
And I've been to Paris, and now this time I went to London.
So the stuff about Oktoberfest, and I know you're not going to go like deep into it because you didn't experience it this trip.
Yeah.
But when you were there before, we've seen movies and whatnot. You see the memes, you see the pictures of, the big boob girls, they're Oktoberfest, they got the big mugs. Is it very similar to what we see online in the movies, or is it very like that's Americanized and it's different over there?
I saw 0 exposed breasts.
Okay.
At Oktoberfest.
So it's nothing like we see on Facebook.
But there were many, many large mugs.
Okay. So the mugs are legit, the boobs are not.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, the thing about Oktoberfest is they cut it off at, it ends at like 6 p.m.
Seriously?
Yeah, so it starts at like 10 a.m. It goes to like 6, and then they kick everybody out of the tents.
Oh, really? Okay.
So
well, that's fair.
Now I will say, the last time we went there, we showed up at 10:30. I was on to my 3rd liter of beer about 1 p.m.
Yeah.
And I drank 6 liters of beer while I was there when we left at 4. So it's not like the drinking, was just taking off. No, the entire night just got moved up about 6 hours.
Right. So then,
due to
all right.
that drinking.
So they kick everybody out at 6. Where do you go from there?
Well, you can split off and you go to the bars.
You go to the bars.
There. You go to the smaller beer halls. But the actual, where Oktoberfest takes place, the actual area, it's kind of almost like a carnival, but they just have the gigantic tents that might fit. One of them might fit 10,000 people in it. One of them might fit 100 people in it.
Okay, so here in America, like in Omaha here, we have a bar, Crescent Moon, that does a big Oktoberfest, right? They've got the big, they get the bar itself, and then they've got an outdoor tent, and it's a big deal, right? They've got the tent. It's an all-day thing. So whereas here, it's like, hey, come, we're going to drink all night. It's going to be awesome. There, they're like, hey, come drink, and it's going to be sweet. Get the out at 6, and then go enjoy the city or whatever it is.
And it goes for like 4 or 5 weeks.
Nice.
So it's not like, hey, I missed Oktoberfest. I missed the day.
It keeps going.
Like, no, it's I was there.
Okay.
I remember the first day that we got there, we went and we just checked it out, but there was like a private section off to the side. You could tell that they were all just like Germans.
Yeah.
They were all dressed up, like the men were wearing their white shirts with the suspenders. The ladies were wearing their traditional like dresses, and they had like kids there like running around, dressed up again. But like the guys and like everybody's like singing like these traditional songs like in German, and you're just like, this is like their culture. So when we look at it, we're like, oh man, like, well, this is just the stereotypical, like, let's get drunk, let's let's have some fun, let's get a little crazy. This is like part of their thing. So
it's like fish fries here, but not just on Fridays. It's for 2-3 weeks there.
Well, and that's where it is. It's like the fun thing about it was more the vibe of just, you knew that every single person that came out there to obviously drink some beer.
Yeah.
And just have a good time.
That's awesome.
So, as opposed to something like here where like Crescent Moon's having it. Like, I've had a lot of fun at those.
Yeah.
But you also kind of have that split between, hey, the adults show up during the day and then start filtering out, and then the 20-somethings show up that night and close it down.
Yeah.
And you kind of have that split. Well, here it's just, hey, if you're younger, you're there. If you're older, you're there. Like, everybody's got their own thing going on.
We're just enjoying the moment.
And it does get so chaotic that, one of the rules that I learned the first time I went to Oktoberfest was just, if you stand on the table for any reason, so because they got these big bench tables, these giant picnic tables.
You say stand on the table?
Yeah. So you got this wide table, but like it's got benches on it. Like it can probably fit.
Like a lunchroom.
Yeah. Like 15 people on each side type of a deal.
Yeah.
So, you're just finding spots. Europe has no table privacy. Just because somebody's sitting at that table.
There's no VIP purchasing of any type.
Even if you went to a restaurant, and this restaurant has a table that seats 6, and your party only takes up 2 of those on the side.
Yeah.
If a party of 4 comes in, they'll seat them in those other 4 seats.
Okay.
Like, there's no privacy or exclusivity of
right.
Like, oh, there are people already sitting at this table. We got to sit somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, but because they have these benches and because they have people that are drinking beer literally by the liter, if you ever stand up on the bench and put your foot on the table, it is a requirement that you finish your beer before you sit back down.
Have you been victim of that?
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
Okay. Do you do it on purpose?
At first, yes.
Okay.
But sometimes you might just be really feeling they might be playing Old Country Roads.
Yeah.
Like the band might be going it, and you know the words to it. They're singing
Yeah,
in
yeah,
English,
yeah.
and you just want to get up. You want to get a little closer.
Yeah,
You want
yeah.
to show off.
Nice.
You want to, get the pose out there with the mug.
Yeah.
And then you got to finish your beer before you come back down.
That's awesome. All right. Well, this was not your trip this recent time. That was a previous trip, but that's awesome. These are stories I had not heard. So this recently you just went. Was it more? It wasn't Oktoberfest. It was like, what was the purpose of the trip? Just to visit, or like what was the deal?
To visit, to see the history.
Okay.
So, and it was an interesting thing. It was the first time I was in London. So you asked, kind of about Europe. And now that I've been there, this is my third trip. I've kind of got my little breakdown. Where I feel like Germany is like Europe. Like it's kind of what you expect from
what
like
you think of Europe
stereotypical,
is,
like very organized,
as an
very
American.
clean,
Yeah.
like this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You go to Paris. Paris is like tourist Europe.
Okay.
Like it's just it's beautiful. Like there's a ton of stuff to see. There's a ton of history. There are a ton of people, and it has all the problems of having like big crowds and that kind of stuff. London might as well be like American Light. And, I don't say that because like, hey, they're becoming like us. It's just we modeled so much stuff off of them that it's like, all right, not only are they speaking the language, but like a lot of the decorum, a lot of the stuff that you see over there is very similar to what you see here.
What American city would you compare it to? You've been to a lot of cities.
I don't know. Because that was one of the weird things even when I was in London, because we did a river cruise in London. We also did a river cruise in Paris the last time I was there. And so we're doing the river cruise in London. We had a great time. Mm-hmm. But it was kind of funny because when you're in Paris, it was constantly like you're getting up from your table, you're going up, you're taking pictures like as you're going by these monuments.
Yeah.
Well, in London, it was like, all right, well, we got the picture with Big Ben. We got the picture with Tower Bridge.
No,
like that's it. Where Paris, it was just like, all right, Eiffel Tower, Arc de Triomphe, like the Notre Dame. Like you had like all these buildings that were coming up, and like just everything looked foreign enough to be. And then you think about it, and you're just like, well, crap. I guess we probably don't see that impact as much being over here. But World War II, I mean, they had the Battle of the Blitz where Germany was bombing London. Yeah. Like they destroyed a lot of London in there, and so London had to be rebuilt. So London it feels like a much more modern city compared to like a Paris or a Munich or something like that.
Yeah.
So maybe that means that it loses some of that personality, but it feels much more like a contemporary city.
Right. The Eiffel Tower, I know for a fact, like you were sending me pictures, of you at the Eiffel Tower. I mean, you went up and down it, and then there's light shows or whatnot. It's pretty cool, right? I mean, it's cool to see. At what point, though, what purpose does it serve the people there? Or is it more just like, hey, like, is it just kind of like a scenic thing for us, for them there? Or like what? I mean, is there restaurants? Is there bars? Is it like a whole scene around it? I mean, I've never been. So, I mean, like, what's the whole deal around it?
There's a park around it, the Champs de Mars, and I probably butchered. That's not how a French person
That's not how you say it, yeah.
But there's a big park around it. But then underneath it, like in between the legs, there's just some small food and vendor stuff, but there's mainly lines to get on the elevator to go up to the different levels. Mm-hmm. So the first level has 4 separate restaurants on it.
Okay.
And they had a special exhibit this last time that we were there. Because I went to Paris for basically an overnight to see some of the things that we didn't see the first time that we were there. And so on this layer between the legs, they had netting. And they were letting people like go out on the netting and basically go across the gap. And these people are...
So how high is that?
Probably 20, 30 stories up.
No shit.
Yeah. And so people were doing that. So there's this area in between the restaurants up there. But the restaurants are like normal restaurants and you got, decent view.
And you can just walk across the netting? Or
yeah. So you could walk across the netting and we could see people like doing it.
I saw a TikTok the other day and there were some people that put netting up on the second level of their home So kids could just play on it like a little bounce house type deal. That's similar?
Yeah, this is basically the French
version
of that.
Wow. That's interesting.
They got to make everything fancy.
Yeah, that's just what they do.
But above that, they have another level.
Wow.
That goes up about 20, 30 more stories. And it's only got it's got a smaller restaurant and just some different things. And then way above that, they have the main observation point where Mr. Eiffel, literally the guy's name was Eiffel.
Was he there?
No, he's dead.
Oh,
but
shit.
They had
Did you kill him?
basically
Who killed him?
They had a office
breaking.
up
Hold
there.
it. Is this breaking news?
No, Eiffel's been gone a long time. They also built the Statue of Liberty.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's breaking news.
Yeah. Yes. They have
breaking news.
Inside Paris, you can actually see there are at least two of the scale models of the Statue of Liberty that they used to basically build it to scale so that they could see how everything would fit together when they built it huge.
So when you were there, did you hear any of the chatter about one of the people in the government in France wanting to take back the Statue of Liberty? Was that happening while you were there?
That happened right after we left.
Right after.
So.
Okay, because you would have obviously been like, no, that can't happen.
Yeah, no.
Okay, I would assume you would have put your hand up. Okay, good.
But yes, so up on the upper observation level, it's basically the same height as the Willis Tower in Chicago.
Wow.
So that tallest building.
Yeah.
But they have a little office in there where Eiffel would if there was a notable that came in, he would bring them up there and they would have champagne. So they have you can look through the window and they basically have wax figures of meeting, because he brought Edison up there one time, of him meeting with there.
So who uses that office now?
Nobody. But when you go around it, on the back end, there's a dude with champagne.
Hey!
So we did a champagne, and we had a glass of champagne on top of the Eiffel Tower.
I don't know if a lot of people know this, but here in America, if you're drinking champagne, you're not likely drinking champagne. You're drinking sparkling wine. Champagne can only be champagne if it's from Champagne, France. So that's law.
Do you think so? There is a Champaign, Illinois.
There is not the same.
Do you think that's
not the same?
Do you think that was the attempt to get around that?
Yeah, they were trying to get around that. And I'd love
made in Champaign, Illinois, and they just make the champagne huge, and then they put in small letters under it, sparkling wine.
I think you have just created an entire episode. We can go to Champaign, Illinois.
You know who needs to be asked this question?
Who?
Grant. I mean,
Grant
his wife is from.
She's from Illinois,
the land of Lincoln.
She would know.
Probably know.
Yeah. Is it too late? Can we call?
I mean,
is it too late? We need to know this answer first of all. So I think this is definitely another episode. But it's true, the France thing. If you are drinking champagne, it's not actually champagne unless it's from Champagne, France. So you're drinking sparkling wine. Otherwise, definitely worth looking at. It's the law. It's a real thing. And it's pretty freaking hardcore there. Yep. So if you're drinking, if you're I love champagne. Yeah, do you though? And double check that you're drinking champagne.
Oh, it's like drinking scotch.
Yeah, it really is.
You can't. We can't make that here.
Yeah, that's the thing. And I'm a champagne guy. I love champagne. I've also drank my share many times over of sparkling because I haven't drank the real champagne.
So we got up to the top. We drank the champagne up there.
Yeah.
I'm not very good with heights.
So when you went up there, were you looking out or were you looking down? What was your deal?
So we were in the elevator. I looked towards the the main part of the tower because you could see out.
Was the elevator you could see out?
Yeah.
Or no?
So you could see out on the three sides. So I kind of faced inward towards the tower just because I knew I would get freaked.
But were you open about, hey guys, everybody in here right now?
No,
I'm not good at this.
My crew, the crew that was with me,
playing it cool.
knew.
Okay.
So
you're playing it pretty cool.
But yeah, when we got up there, it was great views. Like,
Yeah,
I could see it, but I was definitely one that, like, I had my hand in contact with
Yeah.
some sort of piece of metal.
Because you
at all
sent a
times.
picture and it was like, you're pretty high up there.
Yeah.
Like, that looked awesome. Like, the view looked incredible. I couldn't tell that you were insanely nervous until you told me. And
Yeah.
you're like, yeah, this was something.
Well, don't tell anybody else. Because
I'm not gonna.
I've been playing it really,
Nobody
really
listens
cool.
to the pod.
Yeah.
So you're good. Yeah. But, yeah, that's so you're super nervous, but your crew knew
Yeah.
you're cool.
And, so yes, we had the champagne up there.
Yep.
Then we rode the elevator down to, like, the mid-level.
Yeah.
And we were on a roll at that point. So we decided, let's stop by here. Let's get some more champagne.
Yeah.
So we did the most French thing possible. And we got some macarons, the cookies.
yeah.
And we got some more champagne, and it cost us like $50 each.
That's awesome.
And, so we had another round of champagne while we were up there.
So do you get a bottle or is that glass?
So we tried to order the bottle because
Yeah.
it looked like they had the bottle up there.
Yep.
And so we asked, and the lady manning the counter, like, she acted like that was the first time she ever heard
Like,
that.
nobody's ever asked that. Yeah.
It was like one of those, like, well, now we feel like the dumb foreigners.
Yeah.
All right, give us our cookies. Like,
That's awesome. You're like, in America, this would cost $20 at most for a bottle. And they're like, yeah, you might want to keep moving.
yeah.
That's awesome. So that was at the Eiffel Tower.
Yep.
As you're hitting other, touristy spots or just other places of note, I mean, I'm assuming Champagne, the foods of their culture are amongst you, right? They have these little bakeries and whatnot. I mean, is that something that you hit up as you're going, or is it just like, you know what, we're in the moment, we're in the Eiffel Tower, let's hit it up? Or are you guys just kind of like, we're hitting this up pretty much anywhere?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, our group did not have any foodies in it. So we did not do a lot of research for the food.
Okay.
So it did become kind of one of those things where you're kind of looking at the menu like, can I figure out what this is?
Right.
Let's go here.
Yeah. Well, do you think it would be much different if you had a foodie? Like, do you think you would have changed where you went or what you ordered if you had a foodie with you? Because I think that's pretty interesting, honestly.
I mean, I would not have changed what I ordered.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you're a pepperoni pizza, plain burger guy, chicken wings, like that's your go-to. No salads. Like I've got you down, right? Like, but if you're there, you're probably getting what the most basic item they've got on the appetizer menu.
I ate a lot of fish and chips.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised you ate that.
I keep getting that reaction. My mom gave me that reaction. My mom said, I can't imagine you ever eating fish and chips.
You eat plain hamburgers, nothing but ketchup, but you're going to eat fish and chips? Yeah, I'm a little surprised.
Yeah, but the second most eaten item on there was pepperoni pizza.
So what did you think of the fish and chips?
It felt like everybody was making pepperoni pizza.
Well, yeah, pepperoni pizzas, everybody loves it.
Yeah.
What did you think of fish and chips?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah,
was awesome.
exactly.
It was fried perfectly. I mean, I can't recommend it enough. Go to London, eat fish and chips.
You can eat that in America too.
Yeah, it's not the same over here.
It's incredible.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service. Real-time updates only in iOS mobile apps. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
But
awesome. The first trip I took was with another friend of ours, Mike, and he is a foodie.
Okay.
So that trip I learned I let him pick the place.
Just kind of pick that, yeah.
And then I would eat whatever I could figure out on the menu. So one place, it was literally like the menu item said like 2 sausages and bread. And they brought me out. It was 2 hot dogs, a slice of white bread, and then they had like a ketchup that had been squeezed on the corner, and mustard and mayonnaise that were like just squeezed on the plate. And it was just like one of those things. Like, I guess I got exactly what I ordered.
There was a time in my life, and it was here in America, but it There's a time in my life I go to a Italian restaurant and I'd be like, I want the burger. And they don't have a burger on the menu, but they would bring me.
I think you went to we went to Spanish Heritage Night.
Yeah.
Remember we went to a Mexican restaurant.
Yep.
And we both got the hamburguesa.
We got the burger. Yeah.
And our Spanish teacher was not impressed.
Not impressed. And we would just get a patty, and it was, it's obviously not seasoned right. Like, it's a mess. But that's what we ordered, and you get it. But over there, I mean, I would assume what you're ordering is on the menu, and it's going to be prepared to your taste, and it was pretty good. Although you could probably get some better, just like we could have here as well.
True.
That's awesome. So that's the thing is, I'm not a foodie either. I have grown as I've gotten older to be like, all right, I want to try things with different tastes. Just why not, right? But I think if I went to another country, you're only eating a certain number of times. I'm not eating as often as I am here. I'm comfort, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I want to try something, but I also want to try something I know I'm going to like, which is probably going to fall into my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So then it's things that I already know I'm probably like, but I'm going to be like, oh my God, I tried the sausage in France. It was incredible. It's like it was the same as it was in like Louisiana, right?
Right.
But it'd be awesome.
So that is, you mentioned like the length of the trip.
Yeah.
So obviously, I mean, here in the United States, we don't take very many vacations that are 2 weeks long.
No, which is some bullshit.
Right?
Yeah.
So I will say, though, like after about day 5, there was some decision fatigue that started coming in where you do start, because I mean, you're dependent on, you have to go out to eat every meal. So every time you eat, you have to make that decision to go somewhere to eat. And it starts to kind of wear on you where you're just like, I just want to get food and I want to move on to the next thing.
But how many days were you switching where you slept? That's important too.
We had an Airbnb in London the entire time.
Okay.
We went to Paris with the intention of being there one night.
Yep.
And we ended up there for 2.
But when you went to day 5, like you were just saying, that would be the second place you slept or the first?
That would still be the first.
Still the first. Okay. So that helps. I mean, that's not too bad then. Okay. So then it's just a matter of fatigue of, hey, I'm eating out every night, and were you able to cook anything at your Airbnb, or were you just like, I want to try something?
We did breakfast a couple times, but pretty much the main meals, no. We always
eat out.
I mean, it's kind of one of those things again. Like, all right, I'm in London. Like, I'm going to go to a pub.
Right.
I'm going to have them draw me a beer, weird English flat beer.
Yep.
And I'm going to have that, and I'm going to eat something there.
Weird English flat beer. You're not big on their beer, huh?
Well, it's cask. It's cask ale, so they don't have their beer in like the traditional like metal kegs where they're gonna just spit out.
Yep.
So you go to these bars and they have this
pubs.
Yeah. So you go to these pubs and they have the handles, and you'll see them here in the States too.
Yeah.
But like where you have to crank them.
Yep.
You have to crank them as you're going.
Yep.
And very little head. They're flat to our taste. There were some very, very tasty ones over there. But yes, like it's one of those things. Like every single night, that was the nightcap. We were in an area called Bermondsey where they have this line of all these like breweries and bars that are all built under train tracks. So these train tracks are up in the air, and there's literally the structures that they're built upon, like the pillars. There's like storefronts and all this stuff like underneath it. So that was our nightcap every single night was like, well, let's go to a different pub. Let's go try something new here and, experience the local culture.
Yeah. That's awesome. So you would do that every night.
Yep.
And then you would circle back, and in the morning, you'd make some you had eggs. Were eggs expensive there, or are they just expensive in America?
I mean, I honestly don't.
You didn't buy shit. Yeah. Did they prepare you with eggs and breakfast things in the Airbnb, or you guys buy that?
We bought that.
Okay. So
they had some coffee pods in there, but that was about it.
So eggs are not expensive in Europe, but they are in America. All right. That's important.
Maybe I should have filled my suitcase with. I should have got a check bag and just filled it with eggs.
Should have filled it. Yeah.
I mean, we're over there asking Denmark. Hey, Denmark, you got any eggs?
Yeah.
Hey, Lithuania, any eggs?
You could have made so much money.
I brought back paprika Pringles.
Did you?
Yeah.
What'd you think of those?
Those are my favorite.
Really?
I discovered them the last trip when I was in Germany. And yeah, I don't know what it is, but they're spicy. They're savory.
They're not regular here.
No, you can't get them here.
Yeah.
You can't, like, if you go and try to order them on Amazon,
Yeah.
you can tell that it's like cans that people have brought with them over from Europe because they're all like $15. It's like $15 for this can. It's just like, well, okay.
What's the difference in taste? Just a little spicier or what?
Yeah, it's spicy. It's kind of got like a little bit of a cheese like to it, a little bit of garlic to it.
You like the pizza ones, the pizza Pringles?
Yeah, they're all right. They're all right.
What about
I do not eat Pringles on a normal basis.
What about pizza combo?
Oh, pizza combo. That's where it's at.
That's a good combo.
Yeah, I only do that when I travel though.
Okay.
That's a good road snack.
Yeah.
Because you can eat a handful. You can throw them in the door.
What about travel to Europe? Pizza combo?
No. So
No.
Here's
no.
here's the travel hack for you.
Yeah.
You're going to be interested in this.
I'm excited.
So when you fly international,
Yeah.
the beer's free.
What?
Yeah.
So you're drinking beer. So how many beers are you? First of all right, I got a lot of questions. First of all,
your gesturing is getting very.
I mean, my hands are flying.
Could you unlock the door so that I've got the option to leave if I need to?
If this is why season 4 needs to finally have the video.
Season 4. I thought we were on 2 still.
We're on 3 right now. We're at season 3. This is the thing. It needs to have video because my hands are flying. What? All right. So first of all, how long is the flight? Let's start there.
So the flight over there was just under 8 hours.
Okay, just under 8 hours. So how many free beers are you drinking in that 8 hours?
So I mean, I just drank 4.
Okay, that's not bad actually.
So this one, all right. So
you sleep at all?
No, I have trouble sleeping on planes.
You don't sleep ever.
So I did the thing for about 2.5, 3 hours.
You sleep in the Airbnb?
That night. So we flew.
There was a pause. I don't think you slept.
We left at 6 p.m. Atlanta time.
Yeah. You live in Omaha.
Yeah, but we left from Atlanta.
Okay.
And then we landed in
So you went from
London.
Omaha to Atlanta to London?
And so we landed in London at like 9 a.m.
Okay.
Having left America at 6 p.m. But there's a 6-hour time difference or a 5-hour time difference in there.
Okay.
But so what they'll do is they'll come through. They'll bring the drink cart through.
Yep.
Now, on other flights, I've had luck with just ordering 2 beers at a time.
Okay. This one, no?
This one, they got a little snippety at me. They were like, we're going to serve dinner, and then we'll have the drink cart come back through.
Right.
So, actually, now that I think about it, I got more than 4. So, all right, I got that first beer.
Yep.
They served us dinner. I got 2 beers after that.
2 beers after that. That's 3.
And then, so what they do is they'll bring the lights down.
Yep.
And they'll have it dark for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then once you're about an hour and a half out, they'll like raise the lights up to like morning type of light.
Okay.
And then they'll serve you a breakfast item.
And you want a beer.
And yes, got a beer, obviously, with that.
4.
2 beers.
5.
So, yeah. So I had those beers. I had my breakfast. And then we went off into the world. And the key to that first day when you land that morning is you got to stay up.
So, yeah.
You got to stay up.
You got to keep rolling. But then, so is it like Vegas where you're just like, all right, I'm here. Let's go, and you can drop your shit like somewhere, or is it like I'm carrying all my stuff?
So we were able to get our Airbnb to let us drop our bags at 11.
So you're ready to roll.
So we went straight to our Airbnb. We dropped our bags, brushed our teeth, did that kind of stuff, went back out, and started exploring.
There you go.
And so but you have to stay up.
Yeah.
Because if you we had somebody on our Germany trip, and she went to bed at like 6 p.m. She was just like, I'm not going to stay up till 9 with you guys.
Yeah.
And she slept from like 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. the next day. Like she's 13 hours.
They just never caught up.
Yeah. But, the rest of us stayed up, started having a couple more beers.
Yeah.
Next thing we know, it's like 11 p.m. and it's like, we probably need to go to bed.
Kind of have to rally it.
But then we survived. We weren't, the jet lag.
Yeah. Well, what about that out of town hangover rule? This is something that's never been brought up on the pod before.
Yeah.
But it's something that's real. If you're out of town, if you're on a trip, you're flying somewhere, you're driving somewhere, if you're out of town, and obviously you're having a few more beers than normal, you're out, you're just having a great time, the hangover rule is different. You might be getting less sleep.
Yeah.
Okay. But the adrenaline's got to be what kicks in, and then you don't have that hangover. Did you feel that in Europe? That the out of town hangover?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that's amazing.
100%.
Man.
So yeah, you wake up in the morning and it's just like
you're just ready to go.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah. No matter what had happened the previous day,
there's no hangover.
Yeah, you're getting up, you're brushing your teeth, you're showering, like you're out of the apartment, like the Airbnb within 45 minutes of getting up, and it's just let's go.
Let's freaking go.
I mean, we averaged over those 10 days, averaged just under 9 miles a day.
Yeah. Wow.
So
just
a
ton
of walking.
Yeah, that helps with that too.
Yeah. So I mean, let's say just. If you were feeling hungover,
yeah, say they'll take care
of
it.
That's gonna take care of it right there, And of course, I mean, every meal that you have the opportunity to order a beer, I mean, you got to have a beer.
You got to have a beer.
So,
and wine, I would assume.
Yeah, when in Paris, any meal had to come. I mean, that was the first thing I was going to drink was a glass of wine.
Yeah, you're going to have the wine. Well, shit. Wait, what? So we're not even going to begin to cover.
Yeah, you did
your whole trip. Like we didn't even cover any of your stories, right? Like we just
no. I came down here. I stole the bottom half of your previous guest's notes to put mine in here. This is probably going to be whoever you invite on the show next. If they cover this, I'm not going to be happy.
They're not going to know that. And I will say, Johnny, please
lock this notepad.
Please lock the room. Make sure nobody takes care of this because. Grant was the last person in here.
Yeah, well, I could see it says buy this vacuum.
Yeah, he wrote his own tag. I mean, he would know, right? Like, why did he need a reminder?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. And obviously, if you're watching movies all through the year and you just want to kind of look back at somebody who is watching a shit ton of movies and just see what they think about it, buy this vacuum is the tag he uses where he tracks all of his films. And you just ripped ass. That's something I talked about at the top of the show. I wish we had on camera. We got it. Like I heard it. We got it. So that's honestly good for us. It's good for us.
I want to say that was not a reflection of. It might have been.
It might have been
a reflection of Grant's taste in movies.
Thanks, Grant. But you wrote some notes, and I don't think we touched on any of those.
No.
Well, we talked a long time about Europe. Is it? I mean, do you want to cover this, or you want to wait for another episode? I mean, at this point, you're like, all right. To be fair to the audience, Eric's like, I got 30 good minutes for you. We're way over. So, like, if you want to cover that in another episode, we can. Otherwise, you got good stories from your trip. I'd love to hear it.
We hit on the Paris thing.
Yeah.
So let me just we'll end this with one last story. On the Paris piece. So I mentioned we were only going to go there for one night.
Yep.
So we wanted to go see the stuff we couldn't see last time: the inside of Notre Dame, the top of the Eiffel Tower.
Because you've been there one other time, right?
Yeah, been there one other time, but Notre Dame was still being repaired from the fire.
Who started that fire?
It was a construction.
Oh, okay.
They were doing some construction, and like the timbers in there are 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
And they started burning.
So it was just a random thing. Okay. All right.
So we wanted to do that. I wanted to see the Napoleon Museum that had also been closed down.
Yep.
So we were there. We were going to do one night.
Yep.
So we got an Airbnb for one night. We packed one day of clothes. We went there. Well, we're going out for brunch the second day. We had our train was supposed to go at like 5 p.m. that day. And we start seeing all this news flashes, getting texts from back in the States of just, hey, are you involved in this? Well, apparently they found unexploded World War II ordnance, like bombs, in like a suburb of Paris, like to the northeast, like near the train tracks.
So when they say, are you involved in this? Did people speculate you?
No. Did this impact you? Okay. We went through a very stringent customs process. I promise you, I did not bring any unexploded World War II ordnance. But how crazy is that?
That's
like,
wild.
World War II and like the Paris piece that ended.
That's wild.
90 years ago, 100 years ago. Your audience isn't good at math, are they? Like,
No,
80 years ago. 80 years ago. Final
not
answer.
one person that listens to this podcast has passed algebra.
But so I'm reading the article, and it's just like, this is not abnormal. And it's like 80 years later. How can you be finding bombs still 80 years later?
That's wild. Where was it, though?
So it was somewhere near the train tracks, and I don't know if they were like digging, doing construction or something like that stuff, and they just found it. But yeah, they shut all of the northbound trains down for that day. So, like
Can you imagine somebody in the States just digging around train tracks and finding something like that?
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
That was Joe Dirt. Remember, he found the.
That's true.
I think that was a plot point in Joe Dirt.
You know what? You know what's funny? I spent 2 years in Creston, Iowa. So, like, small ass town, 7,000 people, Southwest Iowa. There is trains that run through Creston, Iowa. It's actually funny because I could see, like, the fields around the train tracks and like people just randomly digging and just finding shit. I mean, it's just fields. I mean, who knows what's under there?
That'd be the story of the century.
That's so funny.
We found a civil war.
We found it. Yeah. That's so funny.
So yeah, they canceled it. So it's like we had to like scramble and basically find another Airbnb for that night. Had to find one with a washing machine because it's like you only have one change of clothes. So it's just like, all right, the clothes we wore to get here yesterday, everybody throw them in the washer.
Everything was dirty.
Let's do a load of laundry here so that we got something to wear tomorrow. And then had to make the best of it. Which of
change
course,
your underwear.
Well, I had the underwear I had from the day one,
but you changed it.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Just
I was wearing clean
I'm just
underwear
making
through
sure.
the entire trip.
All right.
Everybody was wearing clean underwear.
I want that to be on record. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So yeah, it's like had to kind of. It's like one of those things that from the outside seems like, what a bummer. You had to spend an extra night in Paris.
Yeah.
Like, God's forbid.
God's forbid, another night in Paris.
Oh man,
had to go see that tower one more time.
The capital of culture for the last 1,000 years, and you had to spend another day in there.
Did you walk any any of those like shows? Like, were you wearing some designer stuff? Did you do a show?
I did not do a fashion walk.
Fashion walk, okay.
Which was a shame because
right.
I mean I've been doing a lot of walking. Like
you have.
I feel like
you're talking about 9 miles. I'm like, well, you should have.
I feel like my calves are. I feel like they're in a really good spot right now, and I really could have shown in some of those outfits.
Did you come back to America thinking you were going to be able to flex that a little bit, or are you kind of disappointed?
I'm a little disappointed. I mean, I'm wearing pants right now, so
yeah, good. Yeah, I would be too, honestly.
If you want to, after the show, you can take a couple of promo shots of the calves, and just that way you can show the audience, what's been missed by the American audience here.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was had to wait an extra day, so the train from Paris to London goes under the tunnel, so it goes under the English Channel. So it's 55 kilometers. I don't know what that is. 45 miles underwater to go from France to England.
You swim it?
I did not, but people have swam it.
Did you swim it all while you were there?
No.
Okay.
No, that wasn't.
Interesting.
It was cold.
Because when I go on vacation, I usually pop in the pool a little bit.
Yeah, we didn't have a pool.
Hot tub?
I took a shower.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Good. Wash?
One a day.
Yeah. Free shampoo or what?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Kind of. They had them down at the bottom. Like it was a little.
The bottom.
Yeah. So it was a little awkward because it was standing shower that I had.
Yeah.
So they had the 3 bottles down at the bottom.
Versus the sitting? Do you sit normally?
Well, I mean, there was no tub. There's no tub. So
okay.
Standing was your only option.
Okay.
I mean, you could sit in there, I guess. I don't recommend it, but you could sit.
Okay.
But they put the bottles like right underneath the shower.
Weird.
So when I'm like leaning over to, I'm leaning as this, so for my voice is changing. So I'm leaning over to pump and get the body wash and the shampoo and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I got like a torrent of water running down me.
Yeah.
Like it's immediately just diluting the soap.
Yeah.
So it took a little while to realize like I just gotta just like load up. Like I gotta like pour half the bottle on.
You gotta take one hand, put it in, one hand on top.
Yeah.
That way you block.
I know how to do it.
Oh, okay.
I know how to do it.
I didn't know.
I was blocking the entire time.
Okay, I just throwing it out there.
But I mean, how much soap are you losing in that process?
Yeah, that's not your problem, really.
It was very frustrating.
Interesting. And it's like a shared shampoo situation. Like, it's not like you brought your own.
No, I would never plan that far out ahead.
Do you bring any shampoo with you when you go traveling?
No.
You just bank on where you're going. We'll have it.
Yeah.
Ain't that something?
I'm not above, and I have done it before. I'll use the hand soap.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if they don't have anything in the shower, I mean, I'm just taking the hand soap from the sink and I'm using that for the hair, the body, all that.
Oh, hair too, huh?
Yeah.
That's probably okay for a day or two. You're there for a couple weeks. That's a lot to think. I mean, do they have hair stuff there, or did you do the hand thing? That's weird.
I mean, it's England, and they got the teeth thing, so I'm not sure that they have toothpaste over there.
Oh, did you brush your teeth? Yeah. Did you bring a toothbrush?
I brought my toothbrush, and you know what? The charge like I brush twice a day. The charge lasts the entire trip.
Did you have to bring like a charger adapter for the outlets? Isn't there something with the outlets?
Yeah, the outlets are different.
Yeah. Did you do that?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Well,
I feel like we really got to the bottom of it.
I think we've covered a lot.
All right, I was talking about the train going from Paris to London, and I'll leave this with this. My favorite part about it.
I love that we're talking about toothpaste, and you're like, hold on, I had a point.
So, to get on the train, like, you have to go through the same kind of screen that you would like at an airport.
Yeah.
Like, so you got to go through like this passport security. You got to go
to get on the train.
Yeah, you got to get your bag scanned to make sure.
Did they have their
explosives.
What was their 9/11 that caused that? Because we know what we dealt with. What did they have?
I think it's permanent paranoia, or it's that what's that Clint Eastwood movie where like he made it because remember there was those Americans that were like on the train that was getting hijacked.
Yeah, but a Clint Eastwood movie caused their paranoia.
Yeah,
that's
probably.
Some bullshit.
Yeah.
We had 9/11. Thousands of people died. The World Trade Center.
So
that caused an issue at the airports.
But I mean, it's not to the same point because we could bring liquids on there. And so when you look at the website for the thing, it basically says for passengers who are wanting a tipple, which I guess must mean like a drink.
Yeah.
They're like each passenger is allowed to bring a bottle of wine or 4 bottles of beer.
So you can bring a bottle of wine or 4 bottles of beer?
Yeah. So I brought a bottle of wine on it, and so I had to
on the train.
Yeah, and it was like a legit cork one. Like I had to like open it.
Yeah.
We had our cups still from the Eiffel Tower the day before that I'd washed out that morning, and we drank champagne as we went through the channel.
Wow. And you caused their 9/11. Is that?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
I can't believe that they have restrictions, much like us. Very relaxed. But we can't get a definitive of what caused that other than a Clint Eastwood movie. But we had people die at the World Trade Center.
We will get to the bottom of this next episode. I have stories in here that we didn't get to.
Of it. Yeah,
and maybe one of them will shine some light.
That's probably a little teaser.
Yeah.
Little teaser for the next episode. All right. Well, dude, that was awesome. That's great. You had fun. We're gonna have Eric back on. We're gonna talk about the rest of his trip. Also, next week, Lavetti Vegas is back, and he's reinventing himself. That's essentially all he's told me. You've listened to Lavetti on the show or no?
Yeah, I'm just as soon as you said reinvent, I'm thinking New Vegas.
Yeah, he's
Lavetti New Vegas.
He is Lavetti New Vegas. He's still doing shows. He's still going out and about. He's got new material. I haven't heard any of the new material. He's got new material. I know that. He took quite the break from social media, so he was just like cold. I've been talking to him. He's like, I got new material. I'm still going out. Like, I'm doing shows. But anyway, he'll be on next week, and we're gonna talk about kind of the new Lavetti Vegas. Remember, he was guest of the year last year. Will the new Lavetti have a shot at guest of the year? I don't know. I haven't talked to the new guy.
I'm interested to hear. I mean, does he like the new Lavetti, like the
Does
The
he
moniker.
like? Yeah.
The moniker. Is that how he wants to be known?
No,
like,
I'm,
is there,
I'm gonna
like,
ask him.
Yeah.
I mean, do I call you New Lavetti? Like, that's a good point.
Nova
Because
Lavetti?
here's the thing. There's Pepsi.
Lavetti is the
Everybody loves Pepsi. And then there was New Pepsi, or was it Clear Pepsi?
Yeah.
Like, there was another Pepsi nobody liked. I don't know. I don't know
New
if we
Coke.
call him
Coke?
New
Nobody
Coke.
liked New Coke.
Nobody likes New Coke. So, do we call him New Lavetti? I don't know.
Lavetti Jr.?
I mean, he's not like another spawn of himself. I mean, there's just not. I don't
I would
think that
appreciate
works.
if you're a little bit more respectful of my opinions.
Yeah, no, I love. We're spitballing here at this point. I don't know where he's going with it. We're gonna talk about it. I mean, he's booked, so we're gonna talk about if he doesn't show up. I'm gonna talk about it, and then who knows where we're gonna end up
with these ultimatums.
I mean, at this point,
Unlock the door.
Yeah,
Let me out of here. Be more respectful to your guests.
Yeah, that might mean something to the people. That might mean something to the people. Hey, this is Eric. Thanks, dude, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You'll be back. We'll hear about the rest of this Europe trip. Lavetti Vegas next week. Thanks for listening.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service, real-time updates only in iOS mobile apps. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.